Hello and welcome to the Trial On Podcast. I'm your host, Bo. This is my co-host, Danny.
Hey guys, how are you? Hey mate.
I'm good, man. 1 week until the footy starts. I think it's like 3 days or something till the footy starts. Trial's done. Off-season's done. I can't wait. Thursday night's going to be a cracker. What are we going to talk about today?
So today we're going to be talking about a couple of interesting selections made over the past week.
Yeah.
And answer some Instagram questions.
Teamless Tuesdays tomorrow too, so all fantasy people can lock in their team. I'm pretty excited for that. I've been holding off a couple of positions until tomorrow just to make sure my cash cows are in.
Yep.
But let's get into it, eh?
Alrighty, sweet. Before we start, we've got an NRL Tipping comp. If you do want to get involved, flick us a message on Instagram at Trial On Podcast. The prizes are, first prize, 2 tickets to the NRL Grand Final. Second prize is a jersey of your choice. And third is a $50 Rebel gift voucher.
Yeah. Get involved.
Yeah, pretty good prizes there. And now that we're on the topic of tipping, I'm going to rattle off our top 3.
Do we have to talk about the soccer tipping? Jesus Christ. Am I coming last?
Yeah, you're coming dead last. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, mate. But we're going to rattle off our top 3 in the comp. So first is Show Us Your Tips at 66 points.
Tech support.
Yeah, also got the best margin as well at 12 points.
Jesus.
Then it's yours truly at second on 58 points. Very nice. And third is Kansy, 21 on 52 points.
I can't believe that.
Yeah.
I'm probably the only one that watches any of the games either. I'm coming last, so that's just embarrassing. All right, let's get into some NRL chat, though. 1 week out from the season. I wanted to talk about who we think would start fast this year. Now, I think we've come up with 3 teams each. Mm-hmm. Is that right? Fast starters. For me, I've got the Eels, notoriously good in round 1. Last 10 years, I think they've only lost 3 games in round 1, so hitting about 70% there. But 2 of the 3 games they lost in round 1 were actually to the Broncos, so read into that what you will. What's one of your teams?
I've got the Roosters. I think that they'll be very disappointed about how last year ended.
Yeah,
they had such a good team and they were doing really well, and then they got thrashed by the Bunnies, and then what happened? I think they lost both of their...
Yeah, they lost to the Raiders and the Panthers in the semis, I think.
Yeah, they lost both of their finals matches and got kicked straight out. So I think they've
probably got a point to prove.
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah, so I reckon they'll come back strong.
I've got the Rabbits as my second team. I think their spine's really settled, which I love, and they've got great try-scoring ability across the board. And I think with the new rules, they're going to play very, very fast, be very, very hard to stop early. So I've got the Rabbits as my second team.
Alrighty, nice. My second team is the Raiders. I spoke about this last week. George Williams, gun. They've got Jack Whiten. He can be anything on any given night. And Josh Hodgson will be back, so I think that'll be kind of like keeping them going forward, I reckon.
Talking about the Raiders, you swung me that hard last week that I threw them into the grand final.
Did you?
Like the way you spoke about their halves, especially defensively, I think they're a red hot chance. So I put them in my grand final this week. So the Raiders, you swung me on the Raiders. I'm officially a fan of the milk.
They're a good team.
I don't think they'll start fast though. I've got the Panthers as my last team to start fast. I just see them picking up from where they left off last year.
Yeah, nice. I did have the Knights, but then Bo reminded me that they have a bunch of injuries. No Kalen Ponga. Yeah, no Blake Green. So I had to scrap them. So no third team for me. I couldn't really think of another one.
I like Kurt Mann there though. Maybe a good fantasy option until Blake Green gets back. Kurt Mann. Yeah. So we'll have a look at that one, guys. Speaking of some interesting selection news, there's a couple that I wanted to talk about, especially the Broncos. So Croft and Milford looks like they go again.
Yeah.
Now we saw what happened there last year with Croft and Milford. They stuck with that for a long time and really didn't do a lot for them.
No good.
What does this mean for Tom Dearden and that club?
Well, we were talking about this, and there was a few teams that were like looking at him to bring him to their club.
Yeah.
You said a good one was
the Cowboys. The Cowboys look like they're a red hot chance.
Yeah, I think he'd be a good fit there. But with Milford playing and Croft playing over Dearden, I reckon, give him a good month, I reckon. Because, he's a good player. He was a good player.
Yeah.
And if he can get back to anything close to that form, then, maybe he's earned that spot.
You do make a good point. But if they're going to go that round 1, then that has to be the halves pairing round 2, round 3. Like, they can't abandon it.
Yeah.
Like, if it doesn't work round 1, which there's every chance it won't against the Eels, a fast-starting Eels, If they get 30 put on them in round 1, you can't hook like either of them. So
Yeah.
if you want to go that way, you got to stay there, I think. Another one which is a little bit interesting, but I think it's a good move from South.
Yep.
Cam Murray will start lock. It's been reported. Team list get announced tomorrow, so this can all change. But Cam Murray will start lock. Jai Arrow to start off the bench, and maybe when he comes on, Murray will go to an edge. Thoughts?
I don't really like that. I'd rather Jai Arrow on an edge.
So Jai Arrow comes on not to lock. He comes on in the back row.
Yeah, well, you know how good Cam Murray is in the middle.
Yeah.
And last year they tried to put Murray on an edge and he wasn't as effective.
Yeah.
Pardon me. I like the idea that they're going to start Jai Arrow off the bench, kind of get him used to that system, and then I think keep Cam Murray at lock, throw Jai Arrow on an edge.
So do you see Jai Arrow starting it all this year?
Yeah. Give him a few weeks.
So who they got? They got that Jaden Sow on one edge.
Sow. And then there was the Kaloa Matangi
Oh, okay.
and Jacob Host. They were kind of fighting it out for that other back rower spot.
Jacob Host is a good signing for them too.
They reckon Jacob Host because he topped the running meters in I think it was the Charity Shield.
Yeah. They're just flush for players at the moment, South.
Yeah.
I know there's one you were very interested in, so I'll leave this to you, the Roosters.
Ah, yeah, the Roosters. So apparently, I was having a look at NRL.com the other day, and they reckon Luke Keary is going to play halfback this year. He's going to make the switch.
I like it. I really like it.
Yeah.
I think a little bit more responsibility for him.
Yep.
And I think he's going to have no trouble leading around a side. We saw that in the 2018 grand final. Was it the 2018 grand final when Crunk was injured? I think it was.
Oh, yeah, I think it was, yeah.
And he pretty much played the best game he's played in his life.
Yeah.
And he really took control of that game, and they went on maybe one of the most famous victories for a Roosters outfit in a grand final. So I think it's a great move. I don't know who they're going to play at 6. It looks like maybe Lamb will get first crack, and there's also Drew Hutchinson. Yeah,
and they have got Sam Walker there as well.
Yeah, and there's big raps on Sam Walker.
Yeah.
So they've got some options there. I do think they'll slip out of the 8, out of the top 4. I think they'll make the 8, but I think they'll slip out of the top 4. You've got them in your top 4, but
yeah, I do.
I'm really keen for Team List Tuesday because there's always some surprises that pop up there, and I'm excited to see that.
Yeah.
Speaking of another 7, Adam Reynolds.
Yep.
We touched on it briefly. I want to talk about it. Now, the situation is at South. He wants a long-term deal. South want to go year to year because they've been burnt on long-term deals before.
Yeah.
They offered Greg Inglis a lot of years. He had to medically retire. Same with Sam Burgess. They get burnt on that as well. So they want to stick to a one every year deal. Now, this was a story in itself, and then it got a little bit more juicy when Cooper Cronk come out and said, yes, he does have one of the best kicking games in the comp, and he's the captain of the club, but he's got to 3 prelims and lost, and in the last 3 years failed. So he's back in South. He's saying he's saying, I agree with them. He shouldn't get more than a 1 year deal.
Oh.
Now, Adam Reynolds has bit back at that and said, who cares? I don't care what he thinks, what his thoughts are, and what he thinks of me. I haven't had anything to do with him. What are your thoughts?
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I think that, he's done well. Like, to get to 3 prelims, did you say?
Yeah.
That's a good effort.
Yeah.
Like, there's only 2 teams in the prelim? 4.
4 teams.
4 teams in the prelim.
Yeah.
And he's been there.
So top 4 finish really. Top 4 finish for the last 3 years in a row. Is that a failure or?
No, that's not a failure.
Depends what club you're at, I guess. I think Melbourne and the Roosters see premierships as non-failures for a year.
Yeah, I guess. Me personally, I'd back Adam Reynolds here. He's one of the best halves in the comp.
So you're South, you're giving him a longer deal?
I'll give him, how old is he now? He'll be in his 30s. Surely.
I think he wants a 4-year deal, 3 or 4 year deal.
I'd give him a 3-year deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, surely.
So they want to go year to year, and I think it involves a pay cut there too.
That's slack, I reckon.
I'm telling you right now, there are plenty of teams that could take an Adam Reynolds right now. He's one of the premier halfbacks in the competition.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not too many going around. And we've spoken about this like a lot. There's not too many good halfbacks going around right now.
Yeah.
Jerome Hughes just re-signed with the Storm. That was some news during the week.
Mm-hmm.
I took a little bit of an L there. I think the day before I said he's not going to re-sign. No, they won't re-sign him. He'll be going to the Warriors. I think like 2 hours later he re-signed. So I'll cop that one. If Adam Reynolds does go somewhere else, Where's a good fit for him?
Anywhere.
Anyway.
Like the Broncos, we were just talking about them. Yeah. They could really use his experience, his kicking game.
Yep.
And he can kick goals as well. Who's their goal kicker? Jamin Asako?
Yeah. Well, Adam Reynolds is probably the best goal kicker in the comp.
Yeah.
Him and Nathan Cleary is pretty good too.
I'll take Adam Reynolds.
Yeah. Well, Adam Reynolds is the best.
Yeah. You said the Warriors, they're looking for a half.
Mate, I think almost any club would open their checkbook to him. And I think you'd get paid good money to go somewhere else. I think so too. I think he will stay at South. I said this about Jerome Hughes last week. So maybe South fans, I'm sorry, he will re-sign with South Sydney. Now he'll definitely come out and go to another club. All right. We had some Instagram questions this week. Windy2203, good friend of mine, good friend of the show. Which teams have had the best recruitment and why? It's a great question.
Yeah.
I think we both have at least one team the same.
Yeah.
We've talked about it all off season. I think last year we were already talking about it.
Yeah.
So we'll get that one out of the way. Titans,
yeah.
I didn't even write anything on the Titans because I know you can talk about the Titans.
Yeah.
What have they done?
Right. So you just can't go past the Titans when you talk about recruitment.
Yeah.
Because they brought in David Fafita, Big Tino, Fasul Malawi.
Legend.
Yeah. Sam McIntyre. There was one more. Herman Esiesi.
Yeah.
That was the one. All good players, all quality players, and mate,
even off the field, they've locked up their coach, who had a great first season in Holbrook.
Yep.
And Mau Meninga's at the club, and he's bringing a culture into that club. From top to bottom, that club has transformed in a year. From maybe not last year, but the year before, one of the worst NRL teams going around.
Yeah.
To now, people are tossing him in a top 4. I'm not, but people are talking about him in that conversation. So that's a huge win for them. Another team I was pretty highly critical on last year, it's fair to say, the Tigers I've got.
Yep. Now,
I want to rattle off what they've brought to the club. James Tarmo. We've sat here multiple weeks and said that's a huge signing for them.
Yeah.
I think he's just successful. Dane Laurie add some speed to their fullback position, maybe what they didn't have with Dewey. Joe Offenangawi. He's a good forward.
Oh, yeah. No, he's not too bad.
James Roberts gives them an option on the edge, a strike option.
That's right.
That they got to worry about there. Maybe could free up their halves a little bit more.
Yeah.
And what they've got rid of, they've kind of rehabbed their side. Like Chris Lawrence, huge player for them for a long time. He's retired. Chris McQueen, maybe an underperforming player for them. He's gone. He's gone to Huddersfield. And then you had, obviously, Harry Grant. He was on loan, so I don't really count that as a loss too much. Like, he wasn't never going to be there.
Yeah.
Sam McIntyre's an interesting one. I probably would have kept him around. But then you got Josh Reynolds gone.
Yeah.
That was really a bad option for them for a long time.
Yeah.
And then Elijah Taylor, he wasn't even a regular first grader last year.
Yeah.
So that frees up some money there. And then they made the tough call to cut Benji Marshall. And copped a lot of backlash for that. But that also frees up some money there for them.
Yeah.
So I think Madge has done a good job in rehabbing that roster. And I think their recruitment's been good.
Yeah. Yeah, nice. Well, that was a lot.
Yeah.
You had a lot to say about the Tigers.
Well, no, because I usually... I trashed the Tigers last year.
Yeah.
I give them plenty. And because I just couldn't see any direction for their club, I can see where they're trying to get to now.
Yeah.
And I like it. And they're my smoky to make the 8. I really, really enjoy what they're doing. Yeah. Really enjoy it. Who's your other team?
Okay, so my other team, I don't have as much to say about them as
I feel like I owed the Tigers fans.
You do, yeah.
If you listened to me last year, I was not friendly to the Tigers.
Alrighty, well, my second team, the Bunnies.
Yeah.
I really like what the Bunnies have done. They've brought in Jai Arrow and Josh Mansour. They didn't lose too much. They lost nothing, actually. They lost Bailey Sirenen.
Yeah.
I think his name
was a fringe first grader last year. Fringe starting
exactly.
player anyway.
And they gained Jai Arrow. He's one of the best forwards in the comp. Plays Origin. I'm pretty sure he played for Australia as well. Did he?
I don't know if he's played for Australia yet, but the Titans copped a lot of slack when that first happened. When they first lost Jai Arrow. Because we were sitting here at a point where the Titans were one of the worst teams going around. Yeah. And when you found out he was leaving, you were like, how do they let this player go?
Yeah.
Who's easily the best player in the team. Now they turned their team around a bit. So, yeah, that's a good shout. Last question of the day, Laser Flash 101. Your most hated thing about the NRL and your most liked thing about the NRL? We'll start with the most hated thing.
Do you want to go first, or you want me to go first?
I don't think... I'll go first. I don't think I've said this publicly, but people that know me and have watched any games with me probably know this about me. I hate people going from dummy half close to the line, especially late in the tackle count. I can't stand it.
Fourth tackle.
It's the lowest percentage move ever.
Yeah.
I hate it, and and it's so telegraphed. There's some people that are good at it. There's other people that aren't.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty much calling the kettle black there, because I think I lost a game for my team going from dummy half with about 40 seconds to go on last tackle. So
is that when you knocked it on, or?
Yeah, no, I don't know. Things happen, but don't do it. Don't go for dummy half. Get your ball to people that know what they're doing. That's my most hated thing.
Well, the bad thing about that is when a forward goes to dummy half, you can almost guarantee he's going to try and scoot.
And you see him, he gets the dummy half. He literally stands over the ball.
Have a look.
Yeah, and you see his nice little glance up, and then he thinks he's being sneaky by looking this way the whole time. Oh, I'm not going to go from dummy half. He's looking over here, and then the markers are standing there going, all right, and then he just tries to dive straight in, turns the ball over. I hate it. What's your most hated thing?
Right, the most hated thing is... Right, I have two things that I don't really like about the NRL. They got rid of the shoulder charge. Don't like that. But the most hated thing is when players lay down. When they try and milk a penalty. Low. Like someone puts a little bit of pressure on their head and they act like they're bloody broken their back. Cannot stand it.
I'd have thought about the shoulder charge. I can understand why it's gone. But there are ways to do it that's safe. If you don't make contact with the head, it's actually a really good, effective tackle. So why don't they have the shoulder charge? And if you make contact with the head, the same with any other tackle, then it's 4 weeks, gone. So they really hardline, so it forces players to do it safely.
Yeah.
But with concussions and CTE and all that, I can understand why it's out of the game. But yeah, I do miss it. I love it. Your most loved thing about the NRL, mine's pretty easy. I think it's the greatest game on earth. It's the greatest game to watch. I love it. And what I love about our competition is, for a long time, it's very, very close competition. And at the start of the season, it feels like a lot of teams have a chance to be successful. So I do like, and that the salary cap's a big part of that, even though some teams might not adhere to that very much.
Yeah, Roosters.
Yeah, but that's what I love about it. I think it's the best game in the world.
Yeah, right. Oh, I've got something similar. I was going to say the most loved thing about it, or liked thing, is that there's a bunch of teams that can win it. Yeah. Like, you think about this year, you still got Melbourne, Roosters, Raiders, you reckon Para maybe, Bunnies, Panthers. That's 6 teams just. And
realistically, you could see every single one of those teams win the comp.
Yeah, even the Knights maybe.
Which is awesome. Which is so good, where you watch another sport, even like the Premier League, in the soccer, it's out of 3 teams every year. You know who's going to be out there. Man U. Yeah, Man City, Man U, Liverpool. Like, it's those kind of teams. Leicester are in around there, Chelsea. But it's the same clubs, and it's all very money driven. So
yeah.
But that's the best thing about the NRL. That's it for this week's episode. We will be doing 2 episodes a week from now on. So we will have a preview show and then a review show.
So I'm back here Thursday.
We'll be back here Thursday. Yeah, we'll be back here Thursday. Because we'll do a show on Monday and a show on Thursday. The show on Thursday will be previewing the whole round. We'll run through the ins and outs. So 2 shows a week from now on. We'll leave a link tree in our bio. So you want to hit us up on any of our socials. You want to see anything on the show, just message us on there. We're on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. We're obviously on YouTube. Yeah. And we're on all podcasting platforms everywhere. So if you have a podcasting platform, you just type in Trial On Podcast, we'll be there. And we'll be here Thursday. Don't forget to check it out. Thanks for watching this episode, and we'll see you soon. See you guys.